The following program is a paid advertisement for Bosley Medical, the world's most experienced hair restoration practice.
You know, most men get pretty shook up about losing their hair. But today, many of them are learning about Bosley Medical. They use your own living hair to fill in the thin spots. Just look at that. It really works. You can treat it like real hair because it is real hair. Your own naturally growing hair. So you don't have to worry about it.
Bosley Medical is the world's most experienced hair restoration practice. For over 25 years, they have performed more than 130,000 procedures using the innovative micrografting techniques pioneered by founder Dr. L. Lee Bosley.
Each surgeon at Bosley Medical is board certified and individually trained by me.
So if you want to have your own naturally growing hair back, call this number for more information. We'll send you this free video and in-depth guidebook that gives you the real facts about hair restoration. There's no cost and absolutely no obligation. So do it for yourself. Call now and get the real results you've been looking for.
It's your real hair.
You can't do better than real.
Hair has always been a symbol of vitality and youth. As a society, we believe that baldness should only happen to older men, so the balding young man might feel that nature has cheated him out of his best-looking years. Today, you no longer have to settle for getting bald. There are several options out there, and one in particular that can genuinely allow you to take control of your hair loss. With recent developments in hair transplant technologies, it's now possible to restore your own living hair faster, more affordably, and with a more natural-looking result than ever before. It has been more than 40 years since medical science first discovered the root cause of hair loss. And since then, clinical research has uncovered some real answers about what can be done to effectively restore lost hair. But even in light of these medical advancements, American men continue to waste over $200 million a year on bogus lotions and exotic formulas that claim to grow hair. And millions more are spent on gimmicky wigs and toupees. The first significant breakthrough in hair restoration came in the late 1950s. Doctors had long known that even severely bald men usually never lost the hair at the very back and sides of their heads. They theorized that these hairs were genetically programmed to last a lifetime. The question was, if some of these hairs could be relocated to balding areas, would they remain and grow naturally, or would they fall out like the original hair? Clinical tests proved that transplanted hair would continue to grow, and the outcome was the first natural and lifelong solution ever discovered for hair loss. One of the principal pioneers of hair transplantation was L. Lee Bosley, M.D., a board-certified dermatologist who first began developing the procedure in 1963.
We can help a lot more men today than we could 15 or 20 years ago. And the main reason is we've improved our micro techniques of hair transplantation.
As most men age, their hair begins to recede in one of several typical patterns. It's not a result of diet, stress, or environment. It's simply genetics. Hormones that are normally present in every man's body, such as dihydrotestosterone, cause hairs to become thinner and shorter until finally their follicles wither away completely.
I figured I was just fooling myself. I could no longer look in the mirror and say to myself, oh, I really don't look that bad. It's just thinning a little. It just became obvious that I was bald. I'd lost my hair.
The good news is that most men have an ample supply of hormone-resistant hairs at the back and sides of the head. In hair transplantation, these hairs are used to replenish the thinning areas. The result is real living hair that will continue to grow for the vast majority for the rest of their lives.
I have plenty of hair here and in the back, but here, all this, yank on it, it's not going to come off. I can go swimming, it's not going to come off. It's me. Oh, even though I look good with hair pieces, I always felt like I was fake. This is really my hair. You can pull on it, you can brush it back, and the wind can blow, you can wash it. I wanted a natural solution. I wanted my own hair. I wanted it to be my own color, my own texture. You know, that's my hair. They just moved it from one place to another.
Even though hair transplantation is a real and natural solution to hair loss. We have to realize that, like any product or service, not all techniques and not all practitioners are equal. In a moment, we'll see what makes the difference between a hair transplant that looks like this and one that's so natural it's virtually undetectable.
A lot has changed since 1963 when Dr. Bosley began pioneering the techniques that have revolutionized the medical practice of hair restoration. Today at Bosley Medical, you can achieve denser, fuller hair and a soft hairline that not only looks natural, but is natural. So if you're concerned about your hair loss, you can do something about it right now. Simply call this toll-free number. We'll send you this free information kit that'll tell you everything you need to know about hair restoration. There's no cost and absolutely no obligation. It's filled with the real facts about every major method men use to try to cope with hair loss, including the drugs Rogaine and Propecia. Most significantly, you'll get a step-by-step look at the innovative micro-techniques developed and refined by Dr. L. Lee Bosley. We encourage you to thoroughly research your options. In the end, we believe you'll discover that Bosley Medical is the solution that really works. Bosley Medical is the world's most experienced hair restoration practice. Each Bosley medical surgeon is board certified and personally trained by Dr. L. Lee Bosley. Since 1974, Bosley Medical has performed more hair restoration procedures than any other medical group in the world. With 38 convenient locations throughout the U.S. and Canada, Bosley Medical has been able to help men and women from all 50 states and more than 60 foreign countries achieve great-looking, real results. You wash it, you get it cut, it's your own real hair growing on top of your head. So take control of your hair loss. Call now and get all the information you need to determine if hair restoration is right for you.
I would say the main factor that motivates most people to have hair restoration is to increase their own sense of self-esteem, their own sense of self-worth. So when they think of themselves, they feel like they look on the outside the way they feel on the inside.
Nothing's wrong with bald, if you don't mind it, but I minded it.
I wanted to have that feel-good feeling again. Not necessarily be young again, but I just wanted that feeling of completeness.
I think it's society certainly puts a great deal of value on one's appearance, right or wrong. That's what happens. And certainly for a man in his 20s or 30s, he can feel they look like his father. He wants to feel, he's taking care of his body, he's eating right, he's young, he's youthful. And certainly hair loss can make him appear 10 or 15 years older.
Men who are losing their hair can turn for answers to artificial hair pieces, drugs, or natural restoration. Hair pieces have been around for centuries. Not much has changed except for styles, attachments, and names. Today, wigs and toupees are often called hair systems, and instead of being glued or taped to the scalp, they can be woven directly into strands of tightly braided natural hair. One drawback is that as the real hair grows, the entire apparatus loosens and must be constantly cut out and reattached. This retying can cause traction alopecia and the permanent loss of even more hair.
The first thing I did was I tried this weave system where they put the braid around your hair and then they weave in this hair piece. But I didn't like it at all. It was just stupid.
There was no way I was going to wear a hairpiece. I would shave my head bald before I would wear a hairpiece.
Cost is another consideration. Some men spend up to $7,000 every 2 to 3 years for maintenance of high-quality hair pieces. So what about drugs? One option is Propecia, available only by prescription. Another drug, now sold over the counter, is Rogaine, a form of minoxidil. Presently, these are the only substances ever proven to grow even a single hair on the scalp. But both have their limitations. For one thing, they have only been shown to grow hair on the bald spot at the back and top of the head, not at the frontal hairline, where most men need it most. And although some researchers claim that these drugs help to retard hair loss, only a very small percentage of users ever achieve significant regrowth.
I was involved in some of the early research using minoxidil at Harvard, and I've been using Rogaine in my practice for quite some time. Of the men who grow cosmetically acceptable hair, only about 5% show a dense regrowth.
Rogaine must be applied twice a day for life, or whatever new hair has appeared will soon be lost. Propecia must be taken orally every single day, And once you discontinue the program, your hair loss immediately resumes. Plus, there are a number of well-publicized potential side effects that few men would ever want to experience, which leads us to a natural and more permanent answer to hair loss: hair transplantation. The discipline of hair transplantation is comprised of many different processes, almost all pioneered and refined by Bosley Medical. Most significant of these are the two micro-techniques that revolutionized the field, known as micrografting and varigrafting. For years, transplanted hairlines were made up of crude rows of coarse hair plugs. Dr. Bosley was among the first to understand that a natural-looking hairline is not a line at all, but a zone of very fine hair that blends softly into the forehead.
In recent years, we've developed micro techniques which enable us to transplant natural follicular units. Now that means 1 hair, 2 hair, and 3 hair groupings, tiny groupings of hair. That's the way hair naturally grows out of the head, and that's the way we transplant it.
It is to Dr. Bosley's credit to have introduced this technique in America and especially now in Europe, which is called the micrograft, a graft which has 1 or 2 hairs, and the mini graft, which has 3 or 4 hairs. I defy anyone other than a hair restoration specialist to detect grafts done with this technique.
In more recent years, Dr. Bosley has also introduced the varigraft technique.
Varigrafting simply consists of using different textures of hair, fine or coarse, different colors of hair, putting them in different locations at exactly the right direction and angle so that it creates a very natural restored head of hair.
But even with these tools at his disposal, to perform a natural-looking hair transplant, a physician must have the aesthetic skills necessary to design a hairline that's right for each patient's face, features, and age.
In order to create a virtually undetectable hairline, there are several factors. The first factor is the location of the hairline. It can't be too far down the forehead or too high up on the forehead. Secondly is the shape of the hairline. It can't be on a man, a female pattern line. It has to be a male pattern hairline. And third is the quality of the hairline. And the quality depends on our micrografting and varigrafting techniques so that we create a very soft, natural frontal hairline.
Thanks to the innovative efforts of Dr. Bosley, hair restoration at Bosley Medical has entered a new era, an era that has brought real natural solutions to the age-old problem of hair loss. But how is the hair transplant procedure itself done? In a moment, we'll see.
Hair restoration isn't for everyone, but for most men, it can make a really significant improvement. Ultimately, the only way to find out if you're a candidate is to consult with a qualified specialist. But first, you should find out everything you can about your options. You can start by calling this toll-free number. We'll send you this free information kit that'll tell you everything you need to know about hair restoration, so you can make a well-informed decision. There's no cost and absolutely no obligation. It includes this new video, or if you prefer, our new CD-ROM for your computer with internet links to the Bosley Medical website. You'll learn the truth about controversial procedures practiced by some other doctors. Most significantly, you'll get a step-by-step look at the innovative micro-techniques developed and refined by Dr. L. Lee Bosley. We encourage you to thoroughly research your options, because at Bosley Medical, we feel that a well-informed consumer is our best patient. Bosley Medical is the world's most experienced hair restoration practice. Each Bosley medical surgeon is board certified and personally trained by Dr. L. Lee Bosley. Since 1974, Bosley Medical has been able to help men and women from all walks of life, carpenters to teachers to software engineers, achieve great-looking, real results. Understand it's your own naturally growing hair, transferred from the very back of your head and along the sides where you have it to the places where you need it. You wash it, you get it cut, it's your own real hair growing on top of your head. So do it for yourself. Call now or visit our website at bosley.com and get all the information you need to determine if hair restoration is right for you.
If you pluck out a transplanted hair, it will do the same thing as if you pluck out a non-transplanted hair. It will simply grow back.
I've seen it with hair and without hair, and I definitely like how I look better with hair.
And my attitude is, if you're going to go someplace and have work done that is permanent,
cosmetic work, then you go to the best.
Today, using the latest transplant microtechnologies, it's possible to restore a man's own living hair faster, more affordably, and with a more natural-looking result than ever before. To find out what the procedure's like, let's join Tim Cavanaugh, a prospective hair transplant patient, as he begins his free private consultation at Bosley Medical's office in Southern California, just one of 38 Bosley Medical locations throughout the U.S. and Canada.
Tim, this is a chart of genetic hair loss. Where do you see yourself at this stage?
First, Tim meets with a senior counselor who answers general questions about hair restoration. He then requests a consultation with a Bosley medical doctor. Tim's consultation begins with a thorough medical examination of his hair and scalp, followed by a diagnosis and classification of his degree of male pattern baldness. The entire consultation is provided free of charge, because ultimately it is the only way for an individual to determine if hair restoration is the right choice for him.
They didn't pressure me. There was no sales pressure whatsoever, which I enjoyed. They weren't trying to sell me a procedure. They weren't trying to sell me anything. They were just, you know, really helping me with my problem that I had, which I don't have anymore.
The good news is that over the years, we found that more than 90% of the people who come to us for hair restoration turn out to be good candidates. And Tim here is no exception. In summary, I'm looking at a critically important ratio. It is that ratio between the supply and the demand. This supply is way more than sufficient to meet this demand. So we'll be able to do a beautiful job for you. Great. Do you have any questions so far? When can we start?
Working together with his patient, Dr. Bosley outlines a custom plan for restoring the hairline and reducing the bald spot at the top of Tim's head.
Each patient is unique, and the amount of hair that needs to be transplanted varies considerably from patient to patient. It depends upon their degree of hair loss, their supply of donor hair, and their own personal wishes for improvement.
Hair transplantation is a relatively simple outpatient procedure. In most cases, it takes about 3 to 4 hours, and you're usually back to work the very next day.
You're awake during the whole procedure, of course. It's actually really simple. It hurts more going to the dentist. You know, you're watching movies, you're eating lunch, you're talking to nurses. Before you know it, you're out the door.
For many men, natural hair restoration is the only real choice. But even when you make the decision to move forward, you still need to choose a highly qualified hair restoration specialist to perform it. What you really need is complete and accurate information, because the more you know, chances are the better your final results will be. You can start by calling this toll-free number. We'll send you this free information kit that'll tell you everything you need to know about hair restoration, so you can make a well-informed decision. There's no cost and absolutely no obligation. It's filled with the real facts about every major method men use to try to cope with hair loss, including the drugs Rogaine and Propecia. Most significantly, you'll get a step-by-step look at the innovative micro-techniques developed and refined by Dr. L. Lee Bosley. You'll also learn about the value and importance of a free consultation at Bosley Medical. We encourage you to thoroughly research your options. In the end, we believe you'll discover that Bosley Medical is the solution that really works. Bosley Medical is the world's most experienced hair restoration practice. Each Bosley medical surgeon is board certified and personally trained by Dr. L. Lee Bosley. Since 1974, Bosley Medical has performed more hair restoration procedures than any other medical group in the world. With 38 convenient locations throughout the U.S. and Canada, Bosley Medical has been able to help men and women from all 50 states and more than 60 foreign countries achieve great-looking, real results. You wash it, you get it cut, it's your own real hair growing on top of your head. So take control of your hair loss. Call now and get all the information you need to determine if hair restoration is right for you.
It's my own hair. I don't take it off. It grows. I have to have it cut, styled.
I started replacing my hair as it fell out. So there isn't a dramatic before and after. It's just a natural-looking head of hair that I've maintained from age 28 until now.
From the surgeons to the receptionists, the staff at Bosley Medical is dedicated to fulfilling the needs of their patients. Staff physicians meet regularly with Dr. Bosley and their peers to discuss recent medical advances and review the progress of their current patients.
It means a lot to be a surgeon at Bosley Medical. I mean, we only accept 1 out of every 150 doctors who contact us regarding a position here, and that's less than 1%.
Your local Bosley Medical office is not a franchise. All of Bosley Medical's surgeons train personally with Dr. Bosley and continue to consult with him on an ongoing basis. Before beginning, Dr. Bosley answers all of Tim's questions and explains what to expect during and after the procedure.
As we discussed yesterday in your consultation, we're planning to do 1,100 grafts today. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay, we'll be using our microtechnology techniques on you. And that means that we'll be doing 1 hair, 2 hair, and 3 hair grafts. So this is going to be very unobtrusive, subtle work. The hair we're putting in today is going to start to grow in about 3 months. So 4 months from now, it should be about that long.
Great.
You understand that?
Perfectly.
After routine preparations, the procedure begins. Tiny grafts of living hair follicles from the donor area are carefully transplanted to the balding areas of the front and top of the head, where they take root and grow naturally.
I didn't realize that they already took the hair from the donor area. I mean, it was already done. And I was wondering, you know, what's going on, when they're going to start. And when I asked the doctor that question, he says, start, we're already finished. Afterward, there was a little numbness. I went home, had a good night's sleep, woke up the next day, went into the office, they took the bandages off, and that was it.
After a resting period of approximately 3 to 4 months, Tim's transplanted hair began growing back as vigorously as before. And since this is Tim's own real living hair, it can be styled and cut any way he chooses.
I wouldn't consider it serious surgery whatsoever. It's basically really simple. They take it from the back here, the donor area they call it, and they plant it up at the top, so all the hair you see right here is taken from the back.
How you doing, buddy?
Doing
Good
great.
to see you. How long has it been since I've seen you now? About 4 months?
About 4 months, in December.
Okay, well, let's have a look at your new hair. With your permission, I'd like to examine it. Your hairline looks terrific. You have a good amount of thickness here, and it looks very natural. How do you feel about it?
I feel great. I think it's wonderful, and I just want to shake your hand again because
Okay.
you ought to be proud. You did a great job.
Are you having any problems in any way, or is there anything you want to think about for the future?
No, you know something right about now, I'm very happy with the way it looks.
I would say that for the great majority of men that we treat, virtually all of the hair that we transplant lasts for a lifetime.
I can tug as hard as I want on it, you know, pull on it. If some hair falls out, I don't have to worry about it because it grows back.
For the first time in history, hair transplantation has given balding men the ability to really take control of their hair loss and the freedom to genuinely change the way they look and feel about themselves.
Many times patients say to me, gee, Dr. Bosley, I've never seen a good hair transplant. And the answer is, that's because you can't see a good hair transplant. You can only see the bad ones.
I explained to the doctor that was with me in the room how I wanted to look again, how I had looked before. And he said so confidently, he said, I can get you there. We can do that. No problem.
When I wore a hairpiece, I'd go home at night and I'd remove it. It was artificial. I'd set it down on a table. When I go home tonight with my own hair, I don't do anything but go to sleep. This is my own hair. It does not come off. I cannot pull it out. It will stay with me for a lifetime.
And now what's exciting is I can go to the barber shop and finally say again, a little off the top, please.
I don't think you can tell by looking at it, but I've had all of the hair here in the front of my head restored at Bosley Medical. Over the years, I can honestly say that not one person has ever said they could detect that I've had hair restoration. In fact, to the contrary. I've had many, many dozens of people say, when I tell them I've had hair restoration and they look at it on close inspection, they say, I don't believe it. I don't believe those are transplants.
A lot has changed since 1963 when Dr. Bosley began pioneering the techniques that have revolutionized the medical practice of hair restoration. Today at Bosley Medical, you can achieve denser, fuller hair and a soft hairline that not only looks natural, but is natural. So if you're concerned about your hair loss, you can do something about it right now. simply call this toll-free number. We'll send you this free information kit that'll tell you everything you need to know about hair restoration. There's no cost and absolutely no obligation. It includes this new video, or if you prefer, our new CD-ROM for your computer with internet links to the Bosley Medical website. It answers those questions most frequently asked by our patients and explains what to expect during and after a procedure. Most significantly, you'll get a step-by-step look at the innovative micro-techniques developed and refined by Dr. L. Lee Bosley. You'll also learn about the value and importance of a free consultation at Bosley Medical. We encourage you to thoroughly research your options, because at Bosley Medical, we feel that a well-informed consumer is our best patient. Bosley Medical is the world's most experienced hair restoration practice. Each Bosley medical surgeon is board certified and personally trained by Dr. L. Lee Bosley. Since 1974, Bosley Medical has been able to help men and women from all walks of life, carpenters to teachers to software engineers, achieve great-looking, real results. Understand it's your own naturally growing hair, transferred from the very back of your head and along the sides where you have it to the places where you need it. You wash it, you get it cut, it's your own real hair growing on top of your head. So do it for yourself. Call now or visit our website at bosley.com and get all the information you need to determine if hair restoration is right for you.
You have to know what you want. You have to know what you can actually achieve. And you'll never recreate what God gave you in the beginning. But you can come close with Bosley.
We're dedicated to our patients' welfare. We're dedicated to their appearance. And nothing is more important to us than a patient looks good and he's happy with his results.
You want to look natural, you want to look your best. You don't want to look artificial. You don't want anybody to ever know that you had a hair transplant.
Nobody has ever come up to me and said, "Oh, I can tell you've had transplants." To the contrary, when they find out that I have had the procedures done, they say, "No, no way."
Some of these transplants are 19, 20 years old, and they're growing just as strong today as they did in the beginning.
What I have now is mine. It's natural.
It's my hair, it's my color, everything is mine. This is my hair.
To date, no one has figured out that I've done it. Of course, I'll know now.
Who got their real hair back at Bosley Medical? Mike? Carl? Or maybe Drew? Well, they all did. These are real people who are looking for real results.
I wanted something natural, real hair, and that's what I've got. It's simple. They take hair from where you have it, and they put it where you need it.
I wash it, I get a cut. It's my own real hair growing on top of my head.
Bosley Medical is the world's most experienced hair restoration practice. For over 25 years, they have performed more than 130,000 procedures using the innovative micrografting techniques pioneered by founder Dr. L. Lee Bosley.
Each surgeon at Bosley Medical is board certified and individually trained by me.
So if you want to have your own naturally growing hair back, call this number for more information. We'll send you this free video and in-depth guidebook that gives you the real facts about hair restoration. There's no cost and absolutely no obligation. So take control of your hair loss. Call now and get the real results you've been looking for.
It's your real hair. You can't do better than real.
The preceding program was a paid advertisement for Bosley Medical, the world's most experienced hair restoration practice.